is the key part of clinical work, right? You can't represent your client well unless you know how to work with them well. And then other things, just again to build on what you guys have said, if you can't do clinical work, and when I was in law school, I couldn't do clinical work, because if I had to appear in court, it might have been a day when I actually couldn't get out of bed, and that wouldn't be great for my client. But moot court, you know, other things in which you are taking leadership positions or able to practice public speaking. The first time I had to do a public speech, I didn't sleep the entire night before, and you can imagine how well that went. It was just a nightmare. But the more you do something, the easier it gets, and it's a really critical, useful tool for almost any field of law that you can go into.
Yeah, I have a question for Kathi. It's actually not disability related, but I think some of us who are interested in advocacy, but also maybe interested in corporate work, might be curious. Which is Morrison and Forrester like unique in the robustness of its pro bono commitment, or not so unique?
Not so unique anymore. I mean, I think we used to be. That you know, we're sort of, you know, a real leader out there. I mean, last year we billed over 90,000 pro bono hours. So I mean, you know, it is a robust program. But so many, I mean, you know, when I started doing the pro bono 15 years ago, there were really nobody else out there doing it. And now almost all of the major law firms have a pro bono counsel. And I think DLA Piper has 5 of them. And now a lot of people are becoming, you know, the pro bono partners at firms and things. So, you know, if you're interested in talking about pro bono at firms, you know, definitely I can talk to you a lot about that kind of thing. But you know, ask about pro bono when you go on a job interview. Absolutely, you know, because there are so many different things where, oh, the first, you know, 100 hours counts, but nothing after that if you're involved in a big case. I mean, Christine had a big case on behalf of somebody with a disability. I mean, it's great because you can really choose the kind of work that you want to do. You know, you can really do disability rights, even if it doesn't have anything to do with your other work. So, I mean, pro bono is a great way at firms to be able to really do. I mean, I feel like if I didn't have a pro bono case on the side all the time, I would have just gone nuts.
You know, and I want to say, even though we're used to thinking of, well, I am used to thinking of pro bono as something that law firms did sort of on the side and whole hour thing, but as in-house counsel, especially for a larger corporation, they too also have pro bono programs. Microsoft has a thriving pro bono program. It's got, you know, a host of very specific things that they do, which are similar, I think, to a lot of the stuff that you would see in law firms, in terms of doing a lot of you know, domestic violence work or doing immigration work and stuff like that, plus other things. For myself, you know, I really wanted to find a way in order to, you know, I used to do both high technology and life science work, and I managed to find a pro bono way to do more life science work for some of that nonprofits in the area that work on those sorts of things. So if you think you want to do corporate plus this, you know, you definitely have the law firm options, but you know, check out companies too if that's where you find yourself.
Yeah, that's only been about the last 5 years. If you look on probono.org, that there's all the corporate firms that have signed on to the pro bono pledge. They're developing pro bono programs. I mean, that's like the new, you know, the new generation out there that's taking off, like corporate firms doing pro bono.
Okay, I think yeah, we've only got about like 5 minutes left. Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions. And Claudia was next.
Go for the students.
Okay, so I wasn't really keeping track of. But, okay, yeah. How about you in the back?
I was wondering if anybody who's worked in disability rights or just knows from other people, are you seeing an uptick in disability discrimination litigation since the ADA amendments? And do you think that that's going to be a sustained pattern, or is it just temporary, or what are your thoughts on that?
So, there are increased numbers of disability rights lawsuits, primarily in Title III right now, around businesses, private businesses. And some of those are really good, legitimate lawsuits, and some of them are the drive-by lawsuits that don't actually have anyone behind them. I haven't seen a change since the ADA amendments. I mean, and kudos to Claudia here. I mean,
the number of charges under Title I have spiked around disability and pregnancy, but we think that that's probably more related to the recession than it is to the Amendments Act. That's our guess, but that's what we've seen at the Employment Law Center.
For you?
Yes, I was just wondering if there's any way you can think of to begin to really show, it's very difficult to really explain what we're trying to ask here, but I think you think of that moment where you're sitting there in a job interview and you realize this guy has no interest in even considering hiring you, but he has to talk to you because of the law and his agreement with the law, it's going to do with on-campus interview or whatever. How can we convince these people that it's time to start taking a chance on that guy with a disability, or that guy who's needing not